What's good, you guys? My name is Andisum Timber for those of you that are new subscribers, and for those of you that have been here from day one, from the get-go, welcome back to my channel, guys, and thank you so much for coming back and tuning in. As you guys can see from today's title, I will be talking to freshmen in high school, your grade 8s and grade 9s, first year students as well in varsity. So yeah, that's who I'm going to be talking to today. I'm actually very excited for this video. I've been planning it for the longest time, and yeah, so since I've been through the experience, I just thought let me share it with you guys as well. But before we actually start with this video, please make sure that you are following me on my socials at Star Mthembu on Instagram. This way you can be able to engage with me in polls and questionnaires about my channel. So it's very important that you guys do follow me on Instagram. Also, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Remember, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. So share this video, like this video, and please tell me what you think about it in the comment section, and do not forget to obviously subscribe. If you have not pressed the subscribe button, like, why not? Please tell me why not. So let's get right into it. So this video has basically two parts. There's obviously the high school part where I'm going to be talking to grade 8s and grade 9s, and then there's the first years in university part where I'm just going to be talking to first years, obviously. So I'm not going to expect you guys to watch the full duration of this video. Obviously, if you're a grade 8 or grade 9 student or learner, then you can just watch the first part of the video where I'm going to be talking to you guys specifically. And if you are a first year student, obviously I don't expect you to be watching the grade 8 and grade 9 part, so you can skip to the part where I'm just talking about you guys. So I'll have it I'll show you guys exactly right over here where at exactly what time you can start watching your part. So yeah, I'm sure that you guys always hear, you guys grade 8s and grade 9s, that before you came into high school that everyone is telling you guys about how hard high school is going to be, and you're going into big school now, you have to take everything seriously, the fun and games is over with now you have to be focused on your work and your academics. Everyone was basically like kind of scaring you. And in fact, I heard that after grade 7 for the longest time, and I just found it so irritating, honestly. It was so irritating because everyone's telling me like about how hard high school is going to be, and that I just need to not be playing around anymore, to take everything seriously. And honestly, you don't actually notice the truth until you actually start experiencing it. Because for me, I was just like, oh, these people can just shut up, like whatever. But when I went into grade 8 and also grade 9, I realized in fact that they were telling me the truth. Grade 8 and grade 9, it really is no joke. You have to be very serious, because your high school career is a stepping stone to varsity and stuff like that. So I'm basically just going to be sharing my experiences and what I think helped me and what I think maybe can help you guys as well. But honestly speaking, grade 7 or primary basically was so much fun. I'm not going to lie, it was all fun and games. I never really took academics that seriously, I was just floating about, past my way through. I was just having fun, with my friends and playing, and that was basically what I was doing mostly in primary. But then honestly, high school is definitely very, very important, and I feel like every single year in high school is super important. You can't take any year for granted. But I do believe that grade 8 and grade 9 are one of your most top 2 years that are very important, because I just feel like those years you really do need to spend them wisely, learning about yourself, learning about your strengths, your weaknesses, what classes you like, your interests, learning about the subjects that you enjoy, the subjects that you're falling asleep in, the subjects that you don't like doing, the homework that you enjoy the most doing, that you always have done doing. Those are the years to learn more about yourself, and I believe those are I believe that those are the years that you should focus more on yourself than anything else around you. That's actually what I wish that someone could have told me to do in entering into high school, is to basically just focus on myself. It's not even about your family, honestly. It's all about your interest, because you know that in grade 9, that's where you're going to be choosing the subjects that you're going to be doing for the duration of your high school life. So that's why I feel like those years need to be spent really wisely, learning more about yourself, because when it's time for you to choose your subjects at the end of grade 9, you must choose what is it that you like, what are your interests, and it's basically about you. It's not about what subjects that your friends are doing. It's not about what subjects that your parents think that you should do for you to pursue a certain career. Not at all. It's all about you, because you don't want it to be a miserable life. Honestly, high school should be also fun as well, but then you must make it so much about yourself before you go into university. So I think that it's very, very important to maybe create like a chart, a big chart, make it visual, stick it up in your room, and in this chart you will have let's say your grade 8 year, and you have your grade 9 year. So obviously your grade 8 year, you will do that every single term. So you're going to separate maybe the charts into 4, and the first block will have term 1, the second block term 2, the third block term 3, term 4. You can just make it just the first half of the year and the second half of the year. It's totally up to you, and just make it visual. And you basically on this chart are writing down all your interests, you're writing down all your weaknesses, the subjects that you don't like, and stuff like that. So as you guys can see, this is basically in my book, but you guys can do it on the charts as I said before. And I have my term planner, which is term 1, term 2, term 3, and term 4. And I wrote there that I was falling asleep mainly in geography and life sciences, meaning that I hated it basically, or I just wasn't enjoying it. And in term 2, I wrote that I failed geography and I had 56% for life sciences. And then in term 3, I wrote that I was sleeping again in life sciences, but I really did well in physics and maths, and that I hated geography. This is just an example, guys. It's not really like me, but I was just making an example. And then in term 4, I just needed to improve my languages. Then on the side, you can write maybe the subjects that you are good at, and the subjects that you aren't good at, just depending on your term planner, and the subjects that you like, and also subjects that you don't like. And then lastly, you can have the subjects that you want to consider to take for the end of grade 9. I believe that if you do this and you continue on with this method in grade 8 and grade 9, by the time comes the end of grade 9, where it's time for you to pick your subject, it's definitely going to be easy for you to know what subjects you want to pick. You're not going to be thinking, oh, let me just pick what my friends are doing, or let me just pick a subject that you don't like at all. You know exactly what subjects you hate, you know exactly what subjects you love, you know what your interests are, you know what your weaknesses and your strengths are, you know what subjects you keep on falling asleep in. So that way I think you're going to know exactly what you going to pick by the time comes the end of grade 9. So I believe that doing this chart maybe in grade 8 and doing another one in grade 9, then comparing the two charts, you'll be able to know exactly what you want when it's time for you to pick your subjects. So that is why I believe that your grade 8 and your grade 9 years are your most important years, because you really do need to know your interests, so that you don't end up picking subjects that maybe your parents wanted you to pursue, or that your friends are doing, so you're doing the exact same thing. High school is definitely going to be fun. Trust me, it's going to be one of your best years of your life, I believe. So remember that it's all about you. It's not about your parents, it's about your dreams, and making sure that you definitely do pursue them. Now let's get into university. First year university. Honestly, for me, in matric, I had misleading information. Everyone was telling me about how fun university was going to be, and that is the best time of your life. You're just doing whatever it is that you want. You're away from family and parents. You're just living your best life. That's what people were telling me. And it was only my dramatic arts teacher in high school who literally told us the truth, that university is no fun and games. It's hectic, and it's very easy for you to break during those years because of the pressure. You know, no one's following you around. You're doing everything on your own. You basically independent. But because everybody else was telling me about how fun it was going to be, it kind of masked what she was saying. So I can definitely say that I went into university totally not prepared at all for it. Honestly, it was a hectic year in 2019, but I got through it. I'm still alive. I'm still here. I do believe that God does not put you through things that he knows that you can't handle. So yeah, I'm going to begin with my experience in first year and how I find it to be. And honestly, it was definitely hard for me because I have never really been, you know, away from family, and I relied a lot on my family and friends for moral support. And I was basically like, I moved away from all of that, and it was time for me to be independent and to be alone basically and take on the world by myself. And it was definitely hard for me to do that because I've never really been away from people that are close to me. I still had the mentality of a matriculant, you know, that okay, well, I was passing very well in high school, so I'm probably going to pass very well as well in high school because I'm focusing on my career. I'm focusing on the things that I really want to do anyway, so it's going to be a breeze, you know. It just have to study hard like I was doing in high school, and I will pass, you know, properly in varsity. And that's the first mistake that you can make. Don't ever think that just because high school all you had to do was just study, cram a few stuff, and you pass, and that is going to be the same in varsity. I feel like that's just the first mistake that I made, because it's a totally different ball game when it comes to varsity. It's a whole different field that you're not familiar with, and you really do have to be smart about the way that you make your moves when it comes to university. You need to remove the mentality of that I was getting, you know, A's in high school, therefore I'm going to be getting A's as well in university. No, high school and university are totally very different platforms. I cannot stress this enough. You're literally going in as if like you're starting high school over again because it's that different. I remember that we had our first test. They called I think they're called decant tests, where you basically write tests on all the subjects that you've been doing like in the first term. And I remember failing those tests after sleepless nights of studying, and I didn't understand why, because I thought that I knew my work. But I failed those tests, you know, because I was still using the same old moves that I was using in high school in university. And that's the biggest mistake that I made. But in order for me to actually do well, I needed to first understand the field that I was playing in. I needed to understand university, basically understand my schedule, understand my time, my lectures, just in order for me to know how to tackle everything. That was the first step that I was meant to make. And I feel like I wish that someone could have told me that when I was going into university, but no, I was totally unprepared. And I feel like I flopped the first 2 terms of my university life because I was just not working smart. I was working too hard. I was exhausted most of the time, and it kind of portrayed in my marks. So this is what I recommend that you do. I believe in making everything visual, so I think that maybe somewhere in your room have your timetable stuck up where you can see it every single day. So, and this timetable has to include your lectures, your tutorials, your practicals, basically what you're going to be doing from Monday to Friday at campus. And you need to also have the free time in between everything. So for example, if you have, for example, your lectures from 8 in the morning to 9 to 10 is another lecture, and then you notice that from 11 to 12 you have a break, have that also as part of your timetable as well, and so that you can be able to understand exactly how you're going to be spending your time during the week. The second thing that I believe is helpful is to always have a journal in which you're going to be writing down everything that happens basically in your day. So for example, let's say you have a chemistry class at 8 in the morning and you didn't understand what the lecturer is saying about, let's say, naming compounds. So you're going to write in your journal, didn't understand naming compounds. So when you're back at home, you're going to go over the section on naming compounds, or you're going to watch the lecture video on naming compounds. So this is just a quick little example, guys. Do not mind the course codes. This is basically some of the courses that I did. So you have the date, and I have hub at 8 in the morning, and I can see there I wrote that I did not understand functions of the pulmonary artery. Read up on it. See, you'll have a small little goal over there. Then I had maths at 9 o'clock, straight after hub. And there I wrote that I was sleepy. I didn't get much of what the lecturer was saying, so I'm going to watch the lecture video maybe when I get home or back to res, or go over that section that he covered. And then I have MCB at 11, and then at 11 o'clock I wrote that how many seconds in between each heartbeat. This is basically an example, it's not really serious, I just wrote whatever came to my mind. And I wrote there how long it is to take to make the deoxygenated blood. So basically these are questions that I asked myself during the lecture. And also, guys, if you are studying maybe at home or at res, you can also, write notes during your study time, as I have over there, my study time. And if you have questions that you want to ask the lecturer maybe the next day, write them down. And then when you have your lecture, you can maybe ask your lecturer before or after the lecture. So now you are creating small little goals that you didn't even know that you were creating, and that you're going to be able to fulfill when you go over your journal again. And this applies to everything that you are going to be doing, even in practicals, even in tutorials, so that when you are at home and you're studying, you can see that, oh, okay, these are the things that I didn't understand. These are the goals that I need to fulfill for today, so that I can be prepared for my next lecture tomorrow, my next tutorial next week, or practical. So even if you are studying in your room and there's a question that you have that maybe for the lecturer, write it down in your journal, carry it the next day, and maybe before the lecture starts or after the lecture, go to your lecturer and ask him that, sir, maybe the question that you have for him, and tell him about that, so that you can, your life is basically going to be so organized, and you're really not going to feel that much pressure. I promise you that journal will be your best friend. You're really going to be doing yourself a favor. The second thing that I wish that someone could have told me is to have free time and to take a break. I cannot stress this enough. It is imperative that you guys make time away from your books. Once you start understanding your schedule, you can be able to see that, okay, I have free gaps here and here, so maybe I can use that time maybe to just relax and not to think about books. I'm going to use that time for myself, or to maybe watch a movie or something, because it is so important for you to have a life away from your books. I remember that for me, in my first year in varsity, I was just focusing on my classes and my lectures and my tutorials and my practicals and my books. That made me hate university so much, because I literally had no social life. I had no free time. I had no, the breaks that I had, I was thinking about my books and the things I didn't understand, and I was trying to study, even during lunchtime. I'd have lunch, but I'm still thinking in my head, okay, what do I need to do next, in terms of academics. And that made me hate university so much. I really, really hated it, to a point where I almost gave up. Because I remember one day I called my mom and I told her that I'm thinking of coming back. I'd already packed everything, and it was after the first term, I think. And I told her that I can't do this and it's just too hard, I just needed to come back home. And I was just so depressed, and I was going through a lot of pressure, because all I knew was books, and that is not a life. Trust me, you really do need to make time, even if it's just one day in a week where you're just going to make time for yourself, where you're not focusing on books, because you are going to make yourself hate what you're studying because of the fact that you have no social life, or you're not taking breaks. For example, if you notice on your schedule, maybe on a Friday, you notice that you finish every single day at 3 o'clock, then you just tell yourself that for the rest of the day, I am not going to be looking at books. Every single Friday at 3 o'clock, I'm done with my last practical or my last tutorial or my last lecture. After that, I'm either just going to catch up on some sleep, I'm going to watch a movie, but I am not using the rest of that day for books, because you've used the whole week, for studying and basically focusing on academics. Even on a Saturday, don't just be studying the whole day, spending your whole day at the library studying and under books. Maybe tell yourself that, okay, you know what, half of the day I'm gonna go to the library, maybe do some studying as well, but then when you come back, you are not looking at books as well, because your mind needs to take a break. Otherwise you're going to exhaust your mind, and by the time comes second semester, you are not going to be happy at all, and you're just going to want to leave everything and give up. Taking a break is definitely a necessity in order for you to do well in varsity. Otherwise, you are going to exhaust your mind. You are not going to be able to study the best way possible. So please make sure that you make time to also look after your brain, look after your body as well, so that you can be able to study effectively. All in all, to all high school students and to university students, you will definitely get through whatever it is that you're getting through, and you will definitely get to where you want to be in the future. You will pursue your dreams. All you have to do is just believe in them and make sure that you're doing everything that you can to get there. And also remember that you are definitely going to make mistakes. This is definitely the time for you to be making mistakes, but the key is for you to learn from those mistakes, for you to become a better person. Do not beat yourself up if you do not pass a certain test or an exam, or you didn't get into a certain course. I always believe that God always puts you in certain situations that you are meant to go through. So don't beat yourself up if you don't get into a certain course. Maybe that's just not the right timing for it. Everything happens with God's timing, and just trust that you are in a certain situation because you're meant to be, and that you can be able to get through it. God will not send you something that you cannot handle. Trust me, everything that you are going through, or wherever you are right now, you are meant to go through it, and you will definitely prosper above it. Always give off your best, and remember that your best is always good enough. Alright guys, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys really did enjoy this video. I just really thought that maybe if I shared my experiences, it could help someone out there. I know that school has already started, so I just hope that this video was very helpful to you guys. So if you have friends as well who are in high school, doing grade 8 to grade 9, or first year students, siblings as well, cousins, please share this with them as well. Maybe it can help them. And let's get to 1,000 subscribers. If you did like this video, please give it a thumbs up and tell me what you thought about it in the comment section. Bye guys, I'll see you guys next time.